Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, The Vostian. I will be discussing socialism, anti-imperialism and Marxism-Leninism on this channel. So if you're interested in these topics, then you can subscribe to this channel. I'll be making more videos on topics like this, so do subscribe if you want to see more videos like these. Okay. And one more thing, I'm really bad at design, so please forgive me if you find these slides ugly. I'll try my best to improve on that part. Anyways, this is my first video on the channel, so let's just go ahead with it. And in case you're wondering about the name of this channel, it's made of two words. The Vostian, it's made of two words, Vos and Stian, and it means the Vostok spacecraft, which was built by the Soviet Union, and the Tiangong space station built by the People's Republic of China, which is currently in space right now. Okay, so let me tell you something about myself. I'm a socialist from India. Now, depending on who you ask, everyone has a different definition of socialism. So I want to tell you right away that I'm a Marxist Leninist. Marxism Leninism is a sort of expansion of Marxism. Lenin was the main contributor to this ideology and it was popularized by Stalin. And we will talk in detail about this later. So I just wanted you all to know that I am a Marxist Leninist, and or you can also call me an ML, as it's called on the internet or other places. Okay, and I'm also a very staunch anti-imperialist. Now, anti-imperialism is very important for the goals of achieving socialism worldwide. As Lenin had said, imperialism is the highest stage of capitalism. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the imperialism and the US empire in this video. And let me just begin with the first topic, the problems with the Western left. Now, the reason I'm creating this channel is because in today's leftist discourse, especially the Western leftist discourse, there's a lack of anti-imperialist voices. Now, there are very few of those, and many of them are like ridiculed for the support of countries like Cuba, Vietnam, Iran, Palestine, Venezuela, Bolivia, etc. Now, I'm a socialist from the global south, and global south is a term that refers to poor countries that are subjugated by the rich imperialist countries. I am from India, which is a part of the global south. It really infuriates me that the Western leftists do not care about the people from the global south. Like, they only care about socialism in their own country. Like, there are so many poorer nations who have been exploited by the imperialists, and that is one of the main reasons their own imperialist countries can function. Okay, and as I understand it, most of this opposition comes from the left due to high level of propaganda that they have consumed since childhood. These imperialist countries, the USA in particular, have succeeded in brainwashing their citizens to such a high level that even the smallest defiance to the indoctrination is viewed as something lunatic. The Cold War era McCarthyism is like still present in USA today, although it's more subtle than before. And I don't really blame the leftists from the imperial core, and the reason is that it's really hard to break free from propaganda, and I know this because I have gone through it myself. And so it's really important for socialists all over the globe to make every effort that they can in challenging the hegemony of the imperialists. And that is the reason why I have created this channel, so I can teach about anti-imperialism and why it is crucial for the mission of establishing socialism worldwide. Okay, so let's talk about anti-imperialism. Okay, and now Vladimir Lenin was one of the biggest contributors to the anti-imperialist Marxist thought, and you may know Lenin from the Russian Revolution, and he was one of the founders of the Soviet Union, or the USSR as it was called before. And what Lenin did was he took Marx's ideas further by analyzing imperialism as a tool that the bourgeoisie from the most dominant capitalist nation used to exploit the poorer nations. Like once the bourgeoisie from the imperialist nation have exploited the working class from their own countries, then they turn towards the poorer countries, okay, and extract wealth from those countries. Okay. At present, like right now, the United States of America is the biggest force of imperialism on this planet. Okay, and it is backed by its allies in the West, like the EU, Canada, UK, like along with others like Japan, South Korea, Australia. Now, I also like to say that there's this thing called the Five Eyes. It consists of USA, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Like there are sort of I won't call it unofficial because it's official only. Like they are very strong allies, and they do everything they can to uh, you know uh, strive towards uh, their goal of exploiting these like exploiting the global south. And they also have allies in Europe, France, Germany, all the EU countries, along with Japan and South Korea. Okay. And if you want to know more about imperialism, you want to learn about it, then you can read like Lenin's book. It's called Imperialism: The Highest Stage of Capitalism. Okay. It can be a bit dry at times, but the content of this book is even relevant today. Like it has always been relevant. And you should also read the book Neo-Colonialism: The Last Stage of Imperialism. It's by Kwame Nkrumah. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Sorry about that. But he was a revolutionary Marxist and the first president of Ghana. He's a very important person in the history of Marxism. And I've given a link to both of these books in the description, and it's free to read on Marxist.org. Uh, Let me just open that book, and you'll find a lot of books. I've opened this Imperialism: The History of Capitalism, and it's also in PDF format. Like you can, Marxist.org is really a great website to learn about Marxism. Like I know the design is a bit, it's really bad, but it's really good and it's free to read. So yeah, okay. Yeah, so I've given a link to both of these books in the description. Like you can read on there if you want. Okay. And since you're talking about imperialism, I want to give you an example of Bolivia. It's a real world recent example, and it might be on your mind, so I'm going to talk about it. So last year there was a coup in Bolivia that overthrew the democratically elected Evo Morales, and then following months of revolt and resistance by Bolivia's indigenous people, the Movement for Socialism party, which was Evo Morales' party, they won the election. And the demonstrators and the militia of this Movement for Socialism party, I'm going to call it, refer to, is at MAS party. So their demonstrations and demonstrators and militia, they forced the imperialist coup regime to hold fair elections, and then threw them out of the country. Okay. And this coup regime was fully backed by the United States of America, and they had overthrew the democratically elected MAS by fabricating voter fraud. So what had happened was that Movement for Socialism party had already won the election, but uh, the USA and their organization, I don't know what the organization is called, but let me show you an article which talks in great detail about this coup. It's by Rainer Shia. You can also read other of their articles, and think, yeah, the Organization of American States, it's called OAS, and they fabricated evidence for like election fraud. And so what happened was, since they fabricated the fraud, they like their coup regime was seen more like like there wasn't opposition from all around the world and their western allies. Okay. And but they could not continue their regime, as they were like they faced fierce resistance by the indigenous people of Bolivia. And this is how imperialism functions in the modern world today, through coup regimes. Like, they don't do it directly. I mean, it also used they also used to do this earlier. You can I'm going to talk more about this later. And you can read more of Rainer Shia's articles. They are really good. And I like this quote from Mao that they have given here. Like, I have said that all the reputedly powerful reactionaries are merely paper tigers. The reason is that they are divorced from the people. Look, was not Hitler a paper tiger? Was Hitler not overthrown? I also said that the Tsar of Russia, the Emperor of China, and Japanese imperialism were all paper tigers. As we all know, they were all overthrown. US imperialism has not yet been overthrown. It has the atom bomb. I believe it also will be overthrown. It too is a paper tiger. Okay? And like many of the leftists all over the globe, socialists and communists all over the globe, feel that US empire is like it cannot be overthrown. Like, they used to call it the end of history after the fall of the Soviet Union. But that's not true. It can be easily overthrown, and it will be overthrown. And I, and Evo Morales is also a great Marxist politician. And let me show you a video by Evo Morales himself, and I have shared the link for this in the description. Okay? And he talks about the US empire in this video. I'm gonna play it now.
China, Rusia también es imperio. Yo diría, es un país desarrollado, tal vez potencia. ¿Qué hace imperio? Comparto con el compañero, imperio invade. El imperio instala bases militares y el imperio chantajea su desarrollo de un país, como Estados Unidos. ¿Por qué si Estados Unidos es imperio? Usa al Fondo Monetario Internacional y dice, si quieres crédito, alguna ayuda, primero tienes que privatizar tus recursos naturales. ¿Para qué? Para saquear. Yo no he visto una base militar de China ni de Rusia en toda América Latina. No hay. Sí, Rusia en algunos países está enfrentando las bases militares de Estados Unidos para sacarlo. Esa es la pelea a pedido de sus países. Esa es la profunda diferencia. ¿Qué es imperio? ¿Qué es una potencia? ¿Qué puede ser potencia? Mira, compañeros, si nosotros cumplimos con nuestra meta de industrializar el litio, porque tenemos un plan a 2028, 2030, 40 fábricas de litio. Bolivia, con tema litio, va a ser una potencia mundial. Es una potencia en ese rubro. Esa no es esperanza, es una tarea. ¿No? Entonces, una cosa es la potencia desarrollada, otra cosa es imperio. Imperios son los que invaden países. ¿No? Repito nuevamente, yo nunca he visto Rusia de China, de algún país, India, y también es una potencia que tiene sus bases militares. La profunda diferencia con el imperio.
Oh yeah, this was a really great video, and he like clearly demonstrated how like US empire like does its imperialism with the help of the International Monetary Fund. You know, yeah. Like, they give predatory loans, and those loans are not there to help the poorer country, but to exploit it more. Okay. And Like, it's better if you like just research more about this topic yourselves. And I'm going to share some resources from which you can learn more about these, and I've given the links for all of those in the description. And you can also go through that. like like here is a list of all the atrocities done by the US empire. It's on GitHub, and just by looking at this you will like find out how cruel and violent the US empire is. Okay? And if you want to go more in depth on this topic, and I will also suggest reading this article by Jiang Shigong, who is a Chinese political theorist. It's called A History of Empire Without Empire, and I have given the link to this article in the description. Okay, this is also a good article, but it's really long, and I'm not going to talk about it because it's going to be a little short video. Okay, and I would also suggest YouTube channels like The Second Thought. You know, The Second Thought used to be mainly an infographic and an idea channel like that, but it has now turned to socialism, and it has a lot of great videos like this one. It talks about the meddling of USA in other countries' elections, and there's also this other great video, Truth About Cuba Protests. And there are also other channels that I would like to suggest. One is Hakim, and yeah, Hakim's also has a really great YouTube channel. You can also look him up. And Luna Oi, if you wanna know about the Vietnam. Vietnam is also a socialist country. Okay, so yeah, so that's it that I'd like to talk about. So research on these topics, and you know, all of us all around the world have to fight against anti-imperialism if we truly want to achieve socialism worldwide. Yeah, thank you.